underground radio station.
This is Radio R.
This is all the hits.
All of African music.
This is the African Guide for Kids Show by QV.
Yes, by QV. I just love the voice inside there. Hey, see, it's just sweet when female name is mentioned by a male voice. Like, yo, it just gives you another kind of rushing feeling over here. How are you, Nee? How are you doing? Hey, I hope you're doing fine, because me, I'm doing fantastic. Like, seriously, now that the Lord really gave us this present to just enjoy this moment where Jesus, he died and he's going to rise again. Yes, we'll be celebrating some Easter Monday, but today being a good Saturday. Yeah, I'm going to call it a good Saturday. Thank you so much, Judas, for giving us this chance to enjoy this momento. Because, anyway, we see and we know that everybody in everything in this life has nothing less than a purpose. So in everything that we do and everything that, whatever you're going through right now, may it be that brother of yours that just left you brokenhearted, or maybe that person just made you feel like, hey, I feel useless, I feel sijui Make sure to just come out with a lesson. Make sure to just take the positivity. I know when you're down, when your heart is bleeding, or when you're going through that situation, you don't even think about the positive part. But I promise you, this is how I do it. I always say, I'm the kind of person who don't keep on saying, why me? I'm always like, why not me? And why? What am I learning through this? That's what actually keeps me going. And that's why today I am your host here at Radio RFM, home of African music. Here's the African Guides for Kids show. Yes, remember you can get us on the social media platforms, and that is on Facebook, Radio R, on IG, Radio R 99.2 FM. On YouTube is Radio RFM, home of African music, and on TikTok is Radio RFM, and don't forget we are on Twitter as well. Yes, and we are with a Radio R. That's our handle. And don't forget that we are as well on our website. That is www.cradior.com. Make sure to just click, comment, subscribe, like, share, and love. Tuko pamoja? Recognize what you really can, what you've done for them, and what you are actually to them. Have you ever gotten to a point where you'd be like, I want these people to just appreciate who I am? You just have that thirst of being noticed, of being appreciated. Sometimes even it's not a thing of being noticed, or someone just coming and say, oh, you are this and thank you so much, and we're going to put you on a dashboard or this thing, the billboard, or on the advertisement thingy. It's not always that. It's that thing of being appreciated and recognition is also very good. Have you ever gotten into a position whereby you think, why don't I have? What takes to be recognized? What takes to be appreciated? What can I do to be appreciated? Yet you're doing a very, very vital position, or you're in a very, very vital position to these people. What do you do? Sometimes I remember sometimes back, I was actually in a very, very bad, let me say a field of very, very bad people. And I was always thinking, why are these people not respecting me? Why, despite me really sacrificing every drop of my blood, every drop of my sweat, every drop of my energy, why are they not giving me the respect, the appreciation, the recognition, or just something good, just make me feel good and appreciated? Why are they not giving me that? And it just makes you feel, sometimes if you're really not careful, it can make you really feel useless, or it make you feel, you lose that thing that just life makes us, you just feel like, anyway, at the end of the day, maybe that's what I'm meant for, and you tend, it just makes you feel like you're useless. You're the smallest thing. You're unrecognizable. You're just like there. That was your position, to just be there and not be recognized, And you'll be like, oh my God, what did I do wrong? Or what should I do right? And then it gets to a position whereby you just see the negativity about life, such that you just know, despite you being the backbone of a certain group of people, and they don't give you the recognition, they just make you feel useless. But I came to learn is because sometimes we are in the wrong position. It's because we're in the wrong environment. Right now, if I give you a chain, or if I give my babies a chain, I'm going, and I will tell them to go to different shops. I'm going to make sure that they go to a very, very, as much as I don't like this word, I'm going to use it today. Actually, I know I'll have difficulties take it out of my tongue, but the cheap store. Yeah, I'll tell them, please take this chain to a certain store, to a very, very cheap store. And then I'm going to tell the same child to go to bring the same chain to a the middle life store. And then I'm going to tell them, please take the same chain and go to the highest store. Sell it. Do you know the same chain that is going to be bought for $1 or €1 in a very cheap store, it's going to be bought for maybe $150 in a very expensive store. It's the same store. What does that tell you? It's because you are in the wrongest position. That's why it all matters with the surroundings where you are. Also, the mentality. Also, what is in your head? What do you take yourself for? How worth do you think you are? How worth do you think others should take you to be? Anyway, I'm not today to be your motivational speaker today. We are talking about African Guides for Kids show, where we are going to talk about why do you think Africa is not recognized despite being the backbone of the whole entire world. This is Radio RFM. Make sure to just stick around and let's talk about this. Like, seriously, let's talk about this and let's just know, what do you think about it? What do you think about all these things that people say about Africa? And not part of that, what does Africa got for it to be recognized? Make sure to stick with us. This is Radio RFM, home of African music.
Only underground radio station.
This is Radio RFM.
This is all the hits.
All of African music.
This is the African Guide for Kids show by QV.
Yes, African Guides for Kids show by me, your favorite. Actually, I do. Am I your favorite? Anyway, today I'm going to make you feel like I'm your favorite, and you're going to make me your favorite anyway. Anyway, and today with the African Guides for Kids show, yes, we are talking about why sometimes we feel we get worthless. Sometimes you are in the wrong position with the right mission, right? Like I said before, when starting the program, is that everybody has nothing less than a purpose in this life. So everything that you do, remember, you have a purpose, and a purpose is to be taken seriously. And a purpose is not to be just played with. Please make sure you don't play with your purpose. And that's why today we're talking about the purpose of Africa. Why is it that despite Africa being the backbone of the whole entire world, we all know that most of the minerals, most of the gold, most of everything that we are living with here in Africa, in the world, it's actually 80% is actually coming from Africa. The words mineral, where we get it from, it's Africa. And despite all that, why is it that we tend not to be taken or respected the way we are? Instead, we tend to, or the Africans tend to respect those people actually taking the resources from us. Is it not sad? It's just like, the person who is actually you're working for. Let's assume you have a CEO, yeah. Instead of you respecting the CEO because of giving you work or somewhere where you can work, he tends to respect. Okay, well, respect comes both sides, but it seems like he's worshiping you more. I don't know how to put it for it to sound like for you to understand what I mean, but you know what I mean. Like, we Africans, we are the provider. We provide like the whole. Like, yani, when right now, if you go to buy anything with gold, anything with most of the food, agriculture, it's like 80% of it just comes from Africa. And despite that, most of you can see, for those who have lived in diaspora, we all see how much of these people disrespect us. And the food, maybe even the mango that he's holding on his hand, it's just from your motherland, African motherland, my motherland. Anyway, and today that's what we are talking about. And why do you think that Africa does not get recognized? And what should we do? Because it's good to always mention a problem and also a solution. Have you ever gone to a place whereby people be like, by the way, I see you have a bad hair. And then they'll be like, be like, okay, so what do you think? It's like, what do you think? What should be the solution of it? So, and that's why today we are talking about that problem and what we should do about it. Of course, it's not a 1 point thing, by the way. It's not one thing. We cannot, trust me, if we start with all these problems that Africa goes through, we cannot get, but we start, it can never come to an end, so we are going to start with the first problem and how we can solve it. Anyway, let's stick to this.
Only underground radio station.
This is Radio RFM.
This is All the Hits.
Yes, what is the need of you having a whole human being but they don't respect you? What is the need of having a very beautiful woman but she doesn't recognize you? Wow, that was a deep one. Otile. Anyway, today is not about him, but that word just got me so off guard. And it has gone so deep. Right now, I just want to listen to that music. I can't. Ni lazima nisikize. But anyway, let's not forget to where we were today.
This is the African Guide for Kids Show by QV.
Yes, today we are talking of what should Africa do better. And before I start, I just want to give you a hint. This is something I want you and I to take a very close of it. This one is out of the topic that I'm talking about today. I want you to please take your time. This one is a mother. I'm talking this as a mother, as a future mother of many, and a future godmother of many, auntie, whatever, grandmother. I need you to take time to just view or to just take care of your children. Of late, especially here in Germany, we are really experiencing the mortality of young children. And I'm talking mortality of like 15 and below. And guess what? They are killing themselves within themselves. Okay? I need you to please, whatever you do in this life, right now, if you have a child or if you have a godchild, whatever, please take care of that child. Tell them the dangers of out there. Tell them the dangers, or not maybe only the dangers. Please help them to appreciate themselves. Help them to know that they are very, very important in this world, because I can attest, like the last 1 week, we've been having 10-year-old, 11-year-old, 12-year-old dying, and especially here in Germany, where they say there's too much of security, okay, but they're still dying. Please, may the Lord protect our babies wherever they are. Even you, wherever you are listening, may you get protected. On the other thing, I need you to be sure, and I need you to please take a point in this. Whenever you're displaying your child on the social media platforms, make sure to please protect her. Whatever culture you come from, whatever religion you are from, please make sure to take care of your child. However, whatever you're doing with her on the social medias. Now, I need you to take this moment and just go to your social media platforms. If you have a child, or maybe if you have someone who has a child, just go and view the status. How many views you yourself, when you post yourself, maybe dancing or doing something, just take the views that this is something I'm telling you. I know it sounds weird, but I feel it's important that we know. No, check how many views when you're dancing. Yeah, when you're dancing, how many views you have, and when you expose your child, how many views your child has. Of course, your child is going to have more views, honey. That does not mean that the world loves your child. That means a lot of people are actually after your child. It might sound weird, but we are not living in a very safe place right now. We are living in a world where a lot, dangers, it's no longer safe. It's no longer safe for you and I. It's no longer safe for our babies. It's no longer safe for our husbands. It's not longer safe for our wives. It's no longer safe for anybody, even the animals themselves. They're no longer safe. So we have to be very cautious on what we are doing,
As those things, the Caucasians are going to think that we are stupid and dumb and poor and
That's a very tough point. That's a very, very important point. When a child like that says that we should really stop adoring the Caucasians or the people who really come in our continent, we should know one thing. When you know who you are, this I'm talking like an individual. When you know who you are, whose you are, where you are, and where you're going, it's very helpful. Africans, we should know that we are the first people in this world. So you cannot, it's just like asking a whole human being, a whole adult asking for a child how to chew a meat or a chewing gum. And yet you've already been chewing it. How are you going to expect a child to know the small things? So African, we should know that we are very worth. And when a child says, we should stop making or asking people asking the Caucasians or the people who doesn't know about our continent on how to lead our continent. I know some are going to say, these people, they colonized us, they did all of that. Yes, they did all of that, but that is already in the history. We are talking about how we're going to do it in the future, the best one. I'm going to tell you a story of, I had gone for a meeting the other day, and I met a group of young, it was a mixture of young men who are very learned. Some were professors, some were teachers, some were entrepreneurs, some were business people, some were, CEOs of very, very important companies. Some of us were us, some of us were me. So, and we were just seated there, and then unfortunately, or fortunately enough, I was the only Kenyan seated there, all right? So they just one of them actually turned to me and they were like, why is it that Kenyans adore the white person? And I was so perplexed. And if I was a white girl, I would be having the red blushes or whatever you call them on the cheeks. And my blood at the same time was boiling because I was actually very, very very agitated by that point. However, behind it, I knew it was right, but I think the fear of damn, that is so true. But I was like, no, I have to protect my girls. But on the other side, I was like, damn. But if you keep on covering it, how are you going to, how are you going to get over it, or how are you going to, maybe learn from them how to do that? And one of the people, he was from Nigeria. He was a psychologist, and he said there's something that they say. I hope I'm going to say it right. Any Nigerians listening to me, just correct me if I'm wrong. He said, if you know day, you don't. If you don't day, you don't day. If you don't have, you don't have. Eh? And if you day, you day. If you don't have day, if you don't day, you don't day. And then I was like, okay, what is the meaning of that? And I was like, that means if a person does not have, they don't have. Okay. So, and he was like, no, if a white, because unfortunately is that these Kenyans, tend to even adore even the people who are very useless when it comes to the European lifestyle. Some of us are leaders, or we are the bosses of those white people when they come to our country, such that for us they are boy. You know, they go and fetch water for us, they go do sweep for us in the houses or whatever. But whenever they come to the country, Kenya, they get adored. The ways where they are walking on, the paths which they are walking on, get to be kissed by those young girls, you know. So, yani, and then the young girls over there, they don't know that these people don't have it. But the fact that they are Caucasians, they just get to be adored. And that is one of the things that almost all, or 80% of the African people tend to do. Now, back to the point where this guy is saying, if you don't do, you don't do, is that a Nigerian woman, before you even try to convince her, you being a white person or whatever, tourist, you know, because most of them, they come as tourists in Africa, right? So you have to show, you have to, you know, for them, you have to demand, you have to earn, and you have to earn that respect. That means by earning that respect, or I'll put it as respect, you know, maybe most of the people, black people, call it respect, but I don't call it respect. I'll call slavery, which is upgraded from physical to psychological, which is actually sick. Damn! Just makes me sick. But anyways, you know, even a Nigerian woman, for you to get that, you know, an ongoing, like, you know, to be allowed to go ahead and do whatever, is you have to show them that you have that thing for you to earn what you want, you know, like being kissed on the yeah. So I'm sorry, just get off. You just get me agitated, like saying. Anyway, so what is that one, that thing? And then, you know, he was like, if you don't have, you don't have. In Kenya, that is a problem. I don't know about most of the countries, but I know I've had a lot of people complaining. Like I said, where I was sitting in that group, there were people, different people, and actually some of them said even in their country is actually there's a normality of, you know, the girls, the moment they see white people, they be like, yeah, he has money. No, these people are poor. Anybody that you see seated in the club, I'm going to give you a hint, ladies, African ladies in Africa right now, residing in Africa, any man, any white person you see seated in a bar, his ass is broke. I'm giving you a hint as a woman to woman. Don't. Hiyo ni mtu anakuja, they just want to come and exploit you and just misuse you. Don't give yourself that. And also for those business people who maybe are saying, oh, maybe when I get connected to the business person, white person, no. Trust me, the moment they come back to Africa, to the Europe, they'll be like, these two people just made me to be their boss or to be their whatever, you know, and then they don't even help you to go to wherever you're supposed to do, to be. Trust me, as much as I know we have one weaknesses, that is one of the point, actually, one day we have to talk about it, is that most of the Africans tend to be jealous to other Africans. Like you can see an African person not being supported by the fellow African. But trust me, sometimes walking alone in this life, being slow but sure, it's better than getting involved with the wrong people. I have seen a lot of people being involved with the wrong white people, and they tend to lose all the things that they have really worked hard for. Okay, so it's time for Africans to really stop adoring the white people. On that adoring, because that is what we are going to deal with today. We'll come and deal with it after this, and I'm going to let young man say a word that he really want to say.
I want you guys. Oh, it's wrong mic. I want all you beautiful African ladies, handsome African men, or doesn't matter what color, what skin color. I just want you to stop listening to advices for people. For example, if I'm a millionaire, if for example, if somebody is broke. And then I asked them for a tip to how to become a billionaire or millionaire. Doesn't help because they're already broke, or because they're broke. Because there's no reason to ask them for a hint because they don't have money and they don't have experience. So it's better to go to it's better to go to someone who already has experience of how to make money, or how to be a billionaire, millionaire, or trillionaire. It doesn't matter how much. I prefer you better go to a person that is a very highly experienced than going to a brokey. That
No, you're not serious. Now you didn't call it brokey. Okay.
Then going to a brokey and asking them for a hint how to become a billionaire. So yeah, that's just one. And stop being selfish.
Yeah. What do you mean by stop being selfish?
If you know how to make money, try to spread it to the whole world.
No, I'm not going to spread it to the whole world.
So try to tell other people if they
to help. You mean to help them to get their own money?
Yeah, I didn't mean that I should give them money.
Yeah, but then in this world, you don't have to give somebody the fish. You can only teach them how to fish. For them to have a continuous a fish on their plate.
Yeah. So, yeah, I would when you stop being selfish and just help other people to make money, or yeah.
This is the African Guide for Kids Show by QV.
Yes, on the radio RFM, home of African music. Today on the African Guides for Kids Show, we are having quite a topic right here, talking about what we should really do better. And one of the things that really was mentioned is for the Africans to stop adoring people you have no idea. Just like he said a very, very good point. He said that you can never learn from a person who has never experienced to be a millionaire. You know, so African, it's not us being the great people, the greatest people of all, the GOAT, the greatest people of all, the OGs. You know, we can never ask somebody who has no idea about being an OG, being an African, on how to be an African, and yet they have no idea who they are. Okay, you know who you are. Your skin shouts. Your skin screams. Your beautiful skin just tells you who you are. Your brain. Let me tell you about something. Coming back to the brain. Do you know that Africa, we are very, very smart? Trust me, when you sit with some of these other races, you know, apart from Chinese who are really good with ITs, trust me, we are very, very smart. That's why you see, when you see African children going to school here in Germany, one thing, or maybe in the Broadways, you'll have your child, if you're not careful enough, your child will be having all those going from running everywhere, and then some people who don't understand where you come from, the brightness or the smartness that your child has, will think that your child is psychological unstable, and then they end up telling you, oh, take your child to the therapy, take your child to I don't know what and what. No, it's because we call it in German unterfordert. It's because they are not having enough content. And why? It's because the level of the brain cells that other kids has and an African kids has, it's not the same. An African child or an African person, their IQ is way, way, way higher. The other children are used. First of all, don't get so personal and say, oh, I'm saying ati watoto wengine ni wajinga. No, they are not stupid. I'm just saying the way it is. The IQ of an African child is way higher. And the IQ of some, it's just on a higher level, and that's why it's very important to understand when you understand your child, what they need to be done. You as a child, you should know that you are a very smart child, so you should give yourself a lot of things. Just keep yourself busy to learn, because that's where your brain is. Don't levelize yourself with the other children, because the other children are used to being spoon-fed. African, we have the genes in us whereby we're just used to working hard and always getting motivated, and it's just the natural. It's just in us that we are very smart. We cannot just help it, and that's why I'm going to give you something to do. When you don't involve yourself in many things that are just helping you to go to the next level, tell me how you feel. You just feel lazy. My body's just tired, just like that. It's because the brain are shouting, are screaming at you, please do something with me, please do something with me. You get yourself, even the smallest thing that you want to do, by the way, you cannot do them properly. Even now, get to a child. Now I'm talking it to you as a grown-up. Now to get to a child whereby they don't know what their body is telling them. So they just want to keep themselves active. And that's why you see a child running away from school, or they want to go and play football without even knowing. They just want to go, they just want to find something to just keep their brain cells very active. And that's why it's very important for a child to be actually entangled or get together to different sports or different categories or different extracurricular activities, because they need it. And I'm telling you, the African children need it more, because like I said, why even most of our children, when you're in Africa, you find them that when we get to school, we get to go to school very, very fast. Children here at the age of 5, they're still playing. They don't know even how to write ABCD. They don't know even the different shapes or whatever. But in Africa, we already know the different shapes, different colors, we know our alphabetical orders. We can add 1 + 1 and whatever, the simplest mathematics. We can solve some equations at the very tender age. It's because that's how our brain is made. It took time for people to really understand that this is how we are made. Africans, we are made special. We are very smart, and that's why, I'm going to repeat it again, most of the people tend to go to school at an earlier age because our brain are smart. And that's why you see when a child is in a diaspora, African child in diaspora, they get to be called ADHS or whatever they call it. ADHS, eh? Yeah, ADHS. Yeah, they say, their child is very active, the child is whatever. But it's because they are active because that's how it's supposed to be. At least at the end of the day, the brain cells have to be activated, right? They have to be put in a very, very position where they have to learn. And that's why, utaona wakati mwingine, and now this is what he was talking about. You can never learn from a person who has never been a millionaire how to be a millionaire, right? You can only learn from a person who has been a millionaire. And that's why you can never learn from a person who has never been an African how to be an African. You can only learn from a person who is in Africa to be an African. And that is not only on these small issues. We also have big issues like the mineral, like the way we have all our country, all these resources are being misused. One of the things, it's because we get to go to the wrong people to ask for the smallest information that deep within is real. I'm going to be honest with you right now. If I ever got from my mouth to God's ears, if I ever have a company, I don't think I'll have a person who has not been an African. Really. I don't think so. And that's why I find it so sad that most of the things that are being opened, the buildings or all those engineers and all that, I find it sad that most of them they get employed. The non-African people get to be employed in Africa to be Yani, and we guys, we all have all those architectures, structural people, all those engineers, those people who have done mathematics to write the BOQ or whatever it is, who are African, and we deny them the chance of being an African. Congratulations to the young man in Uganda called Hams. I think you guys know him. If you don't know him, please go. You got to learn so many things about him. He said that he only employs African people, the indigenous African people, and that's on it, from engineer to the MOH to the PH to the CAH to the CEO to the GMs. All of these people are only Africans, Ugandan to be very specific. What makes us the rest of Africa not to employ only Africa, to make us grow? African has a different soil. So even when we are going to school, we get to be taught about that soil. Now let's go to the smallest thing, like, buildings. We are taught how to treat that soil. If it's an architecture, they know that soil, it's not good for this, because we are taught that soil is not here in Europe. So why are you calling a European to come and strategize that soil that he has no idea about? Why? African women, African people, we have different way of our bodies are just strong, are just beautiful in our beautiful way. Why would you come and employ a person who is not African, who is not going to understand, who is actually going to take advantage of an African person being in pain, just because they say, oh, Africans, their body is made in that they can hold so much pain? Why? It's time for Africans to stand up. Come on, guys. It's time for you to stand up and please see your fellow Africans. I know it's hard to deal with an African. However, I don't think it is easier to deal with a white person or a person who is not African. It's not only white who are not Africans. We have so many races who are not African. But it's not easier to deal with a person who is not African, because you have to understand where he comes from, where he's going, and all that. And that is so much buying of time. We can deal with these people, and I believe that much we have lived with the Africans. We have known how they think, how they do their things. We can really find that levelized. There's something called writing together. You people, you just sign some papers. If you do this, then these are the consequences. If you do this, that's the consequences. It's time for us to be open about it. I know with our cultural thing, it's very difficult to be open and to be very precise. It's something that I, as a person, I have had to learn for quite a time, to be open and being very specific on what I really want. It's hard, but I came to learn being open and just being precise and just being, being purposeful and know my purpose. And being open about it. It's quite important. And I think African, that is a very small problem which we can really solve, instead of bringing people who are going to exploit us, and instead of taking that moment of teaching people how you'd like to be treated, teaching your African people. It takes like 10 or maybe 10 weeks. But if you let another person to come and exploit your country, it's going to take more than 10 years to bring back what you've lost. Which is easier? Taking the 10 weeks to teach somebody how you want to be treated, or taking 10 years to give back what they took from you? This is Radio RFM, home of African music, and this is African Guides for Kids show. Yes, I was teaching about kids. Don't think, oh, that is so concrete for kids. No, they also have to know that this is how the world should know who's African we are. Remember to join us every Saturday, yes, at 1600 here in Germany and 1700 in Kenyan time at the moment, and it's only here at Radio RFM. Just give me your thoughts wherever you'll be listening from. Thank you so much for those who have been listening to me. Really apologize for those who are online and did not go back to you, but I hope I'll be getting back to you. Thank you so much. I love you so much, and remember to join us on our social media platforms. You can as well send any messages for those who really want to do any kind of advertising. Remember, you can advertise with us any time of the day. You just have to go to our internet or on our social media platforms and get us on the Europe's #1 African station. And for advertisement, you can only contact us through the telephone, and that is +49 16372286573, and through our email is radior1923@gmail.com. For those who are actually looking at me right now, who are viewing us right now, the advertisement or the whole advertisement table is on the screen. Make sure to just screenshot it. By the way, can I smile for you to screenshot it? Okay. Okay, thank you. All right, you can get us through this, and then you can just contact us. All right, remember, we are for live stream, latest African diaspora news, daily shows, and 24 hours non-stop African hits. You can get us on the social media platforms, which I told you. On Facebook is Radio RFM, on IG Radio R99.2 FM, on Twitter it's Radio RFM, on YouTube is Radio RFM, home of African music, and on TikTok is Radio RFM. Remember, we are as well on the website, that is www.cradior.com. Just click on listen live and you're going to get us one-on-one. Up next is DJ Kwaku Tipi Show, yes, with his Afro music called Afro Connect. Make sure to just get ready with your dancing shoes.
Only underground radio station.
This is Radio RFM.
This is All the Hits.
All of Africa.